Hi chap, just showing you how to rebuild and take apart your mech Squonker. I've already stripped it down because I had to, take it apart from what it was and clean it and whatnot. So obviously we've got the body of the mod and the faceplate, battery tube, cap for battery tube, silver plated contact, fire button, red insulator, and these bits are all part of the 510 there. Top contact and a little tiny copper washer. And if you look inside the mod, you can see this copper contact from the battery that stays within the mod. That's actually bonded into the top of the mod, so that stays there. So to start off with, we need to put this little tiny copper washer on that copper post in there. So I just get some little tweezers and that just slots onto that little copper post. So remember, from now on, keep it upright, otherwise that washer will drop out. Now we need to build up our 510, so we just screw the core into the 510, and then we can put our washer on the 510, and we can pop that on the top of the mod like so. Now we need to take our top contact, and you can see it has a very slight bend in it. You have it so that the bend is basically, so that's the bend, so it goes in like so. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. Probably doesn't really matter too much, but it just helps to keep things in place. So just drop that in so it goes over the 510. Keep your thumb on the 510 to stop it falling out, and onto the copper post there. And then we can take our nut and pop that on the 510. A little bit fiddly to get started, but I used sort of the tweezers again just to get it going, like so. And you can use your finger if you want as well. Just do that up finger tight. Okay, so now that's in place, we won't lose that copper washer that's underneath there, because the bar is holding it down, and that's all in place. Now we need to tighten up the 510. I'm not sure if you got one of these. This is the Mod Maker 510 tightening kit, and I've put one of these little, what are these called, ATI gaskets, little clear gaskets. It just stops the top of this scratching the polished 510. So we just screw this on to the 510, and I have a little gap between the two sections. Do it up as tight as you can, holding the nut. Obviously the nut will then want to start to spin. I don't think the 510 tightening kit comes with the smaller spanner, because this is the new Mod Maker 510. So you'll need to go onto Mod Maker and buy the 12mm and 11mm spanner. We're going to use the 12mm end. So we'll pop this on to our nut, and then we'll take one of the bars from the 510 tightening kit, and we'll just hold the mod and the bar like so, and then we'll use the actual spanner to tighten the nut. There's not much room for movement, but little short movements. And do it as tight as you can. like so. And you should just be able to back off that tightening kit and undo that like so. So that's all now nice and tight and installed. So the next thing to do is take our little red insulator. And we're going to put it on to that copper post that's in the back of the mod there. And we're going to have it so that the thread is facing upwards. So again, it's a bit fiddly to get it in, but if you use your little tweezers, I might go off camera doing this because I need to see what I'm doing, but you find it if you just pop it on the post. It is fiddly this, but right, bear with me because I might just have to go slightly out of shot so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see if we can get a finger in there. There we go. It's actually, if you put your finger on top of it, it sort of centralises it on the post, and you can do like a little turn as well. And now I can just tighten that up with my finger. Can't really see in there. There you go, there you go. You notice there's little cut out teeth on that. That's so that you can give it a little extra tighten with a flat bladed screwdriver. You can just push it on one of the teeth, give it a couple of extra tightens like so. Don't have to go crazy because it's a plastic thread, so obviously if you go crazy you'll just strip the thread, so just, you know, finger tight is fine. Next thing we need to do is put this large disc onto the threaded section of the 510 like so. That just screws on. Okay, if again finger tight is fine. And now we get the other contact section and we put that over the red insulator like so. Again, it's a little bit fiddly. There we go. Again, you probably can't see that very well. It's sitting over there and it's kind of roughly in the right place. It waggles around a little bit. As long as it's over the red insulator, that's fine. Then we can get our battery. We can push our battery down as far as it will go. And that will just sort of stop about that far away. And then we need our special grippy glove, which I've left over here. So one of these grippy gloves, which you can then wedge your finger in the battery, holding the mod. And then what I do is I just turn the mod. I'm actually, turning the battery tube, but it's easier to just have your finger wedged in the battery tube and turn the mod. And then what that's doing is that's now screwing the battery tube onto that red insulator. And that will just go, and then that will stop, and then your finger will slip. And you can see now that that contact now doesn't rattle around because that's all tightened up. If the contact is slightly over to one side, you can just very carefully get a little screwdriver, just centralise it just for neatness. Obviously pop your bottle in and then switch and top plate, so you can either put the switch in the top plate and drop it on like so, or you can do it the other way around, and that is good to go. If you need to adjust this slightly, you can always, you can just bend that out slightly. That just increases the gap between that and the disc on the 510, so you can sort of get the throw however you like it. I'm just waiting on some smaller diameter silicone for the bottle, so that we get a nice tight fit on the thing, and then I'll get it sent back to you. I've repolished it cleaned all the e-juice out of it, dried it all out for about 2 or 3 days on the radiator, then polished it again. It has bowed out slightly here. I'm going to see if I can heat it and just sort of get it back in. And the faceplate's sort of bowed up slightly as well, but I'm going to have a little play around to see if I can get that any better. But the juice has affected it, so you know, I can't stress enough how much the slightest tiny drop, you know, anywhere, just, you know, keep on top of it, wipe it up straight away. To take it apart, I'll show you how to quickly take it apart, because I need to take it apart just to see if I can straighten it out a little bit. So take the faceplate off, put your finger in the battery tube with your grippy glove, and then start turning anti-clockwise. Don't need to pull on it, just turn, because that'll unthread. And then when it gets off the thread of the red thing, that'll come out, so you can just pull it out. And then you can just sort of shake off that contact. And then you can undo the disc, drop that out. And then to get the red insulator off the little teeth in there, you can just use a little flat screwdriver just on, so you can see that, so just on the teeth there, you just, it gives you something to grip it. So just to get it going, because you've not overdone it tight, then just a couple of goes with the screwdriver, and then the rest you can do by hand. That's the red insulator out. Taking the 510 off, you probably won't need to put that top bit on. You can usually just put the spanner on and anti-clockwise. If this does turn, then put the 510 tightening kit on just to hold it. Again, once that's got going with the spanner, you can finish it off by hand. And just pop the nut out, and then the contact will come out. And then if you turn it upside down over your hand, give it a little tap, the little copper washer will come out. And then you can pop your 510 and your 510 washer out. So that's how to assemble and deassemble your little mech Squonker. Like I say, I'm just waiting on the silicone. While I'm doing that, I'll see if I can try and straighten this up a little bit. It's bowed out ever so slightly here and here where the resin section is. So I will try my best, and I'll get that back to you as soon as it's done. Cheers, bye bye.